start with just a little, I like to rub my hands together before I begin, just to kind of get my fingertips going. It's kind of where I find magic. If I need to do something, sometimes I'll just put my hands up. If I need to stop something, put my hands up, take a breath, put my hands up and push out. So I like to rub my fingertips, especially before I type, because I know they're important, and I like to get some blood flow going to them. And then we start, our practice. So I'll begin. Namaste. And I appreciate you guys coming today. It's not always easy to show up, and so I honor that. Not only I honor you guys, but I also honor myself to show up and doing these things, because it's not always easy. And I appreciate you being here to do that. You might hear some distractions in the background, some puppy dogs, some who knows what going on in the room outside here, but we just stay focused and allow those distractions just to pass on through if we can. So I like to begin just with starting with 3 just easy, gentle, cooling breaths. We want to make sure that our breaths remain cool and invigorating and not overheating. So we want to make sure we're in a cool space. So let's take a deep breath in through our nose. We're not going to hold it for too long, and then just exhale slowly and softly. So inhale and exhale through the mouth. Start letting your shoulders drop. Get into a safe seated position. You can put your back against your chair if you want. Just try not to lean over. Put your back against the chair. Just make sure that you're sitting nice and comfortable in it. You can move your legs a little bit until you get into that sweet spot. Another deep breath in. We want to expand our chest up, bring our neck up, and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. So we're going to keep breathing like this throughout the class. One thing I would like to encourage is to set an intention for the day, or some sort of mantra that you can remember later on in case things start going a little haywire, or there's something going on. But an intention could be to call a friend who you haven't spoken with in a while, to do something you wouldn't have otherwise done. Today, my intention is to go visit a friend of mine's father, who's also a friend of mine who's in hospice. It's kind of tough to make that happen today, but that's my intention to do, to go visit him and spend some time with him and maybe do some breathing with him and things like that. But, another intention could be just to, I want to make the bed today. I haven't made it in a couple of days. I want to make it today. That's a perfect intention. Anything that's something that helps you move forward. So let's take another deep breath in with whatever our intention is. Maybe it's to be kind to ourselves today, to maybe add some forgiveness to ourselves or someone else. So take another deep breath in and exhale. Another great intention is to do something for yourself. Like, I've not colored in a coloring book in months, and I'm going to color a picture today. Totally okay. Whatever you need. Deep breath in and exhale. And this time, if you can, include your diaphragm a little bit more. Your diaphragm's right below our lungs. We just want to push all the extra air out that we can. So we're going to take one more breath in and exhale using the diaphragm as best we can to push. Sometimes it helps to put our hand on our diaphragm so we can feel it. It's like squeezing our muscles, same sort of thing. And one more breath. And exhale. Now I'm just going to let my arms drop to the side. I'm going to start rotating. I'm going to bring my chair back too. See, a little bit better. Oh, maybe not. Let me drop it down here. I look like a giant. That's all right. So we're gonna just let our arms kind of hang at the side, right? Just let them be loose. So one of the things I do outside is I practice drumming, and it's important when I drum to really as loose as I can. So I find myself shaking my arms throughout the day, making sure my thumbs are loose and hands are loose and all that stuff. It helps. It helps with dexterity and balance and things like that. Just being a little bit looser, not loosey-goosey like this, not sloppy noodle. We don't want to be a floppy noodle, but we don't want to be straight as an arrow, so to speak. So we're so tense and tight. And breathing helps. Let's take another deep breath in. Just relax our shoulders so they fall down a little bit, so we're not up here. Our shoulders aren't in our ears. They're down where they should be. You might hear some sounds, some pops, this, that, and the other. It's okay. I'm going to start loosening my hands. I like to do figure eights when I do this, and I lead with my thumb, just gently. And figure eight is another type of, it's infinity. It's the sign of infinity, which just is a kind of loop. And I like to do things in circles. It's kind of a Tai Chi, Qigong, if you're familiar with that. So it's energetic sort of flow. So you remember the fingers we started? Well, this helps bring some of that energy into them. Give us that magic that we need. Take a deep breath in. And however you do it is fine. It can be a 6. It can be an 8. It's okay. And I start rotating my thumbs. And then start kind of pulsing my fingers like I'm a cat making biscuits. So like, you know how kitty cats make biscuits? I like to do that. And just start bringing my arms up a little bit, keeping them soft so they're not stiff. Just making biscuits. And this way we get some strength in our hands. We can get our hands as wide as we can, like this, right? And then just kind of squeeze them down, squeeze them down, squeeze them down, right? And then go back, because that's also gonna, yeah. So we're just making happy hands for one like this. Remember, taking that deep breath in. And exhale. If you start feeling like you're getting hot, just slow down. You can stop, take a couple deep breaths in. Some people like to have a fan on them or some sort of cooling something when it's going on, because it can, depending on where you're at, it can get somewhat warm. So now we're going to start with our shoulders and elbows and do the same sort of motion. Right now we're stirring a big pot of something, big soup, witch's brew, whatever you'd like to do. Right. And start crossing over. We're not going to hug ourselves necessarily, but we're going to try. You know how you ever had a hug that you almost missed? Oops. So that's what it hugs in the front. The other thing is make sure you have enough room around you that you're not going to hit your desk or someone or anything like that's breakable, because we're going to get our arms are going to come out here at some point. So we just want to make sure we're in a safe space, and our feet as well. They're going to come up. All right. And then shoulders, we're just going to start going back with our shoulders. Just deep breath in. And this is kind of just to get us going. So if we wanted to do another yoga practice that's a little bit more challenging in a few hours, we're already kind of loosened up, right? So now we're going to do both shoulders, same time. Deep breath in. And I'm going back first. You can go forward if you'd like. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing forward, going up, back, and down, right? So forward, up, back, and down. I have a tendency to bend over like this, and my shoulders kind of come forward, and it ends up hurting my shoulders. So my goal is to get them kind of come down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to switch direction, so it helps the back. You take a deep breath in, and go. We can do these super slow, right? Slow is good. Exhale as we go. And take a quick rest. All right. Now we're going to work on our, work on our feet. We're basically going to do the same thing that we just did with our hands and feet. All right. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. And a deep breath in and exhale. Now what I like to do is the same sort of thing. I'm going to bring my foot out. This is my right foot. And I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to do circles. I'm not going to do figure eights necessarily. It's a little bit trickier with our feet. So I'm just going to do circles. All right. I'm going to squeeze like this and squeeze like this if you can. Right. Do what you can. Play the piano a little bit with your feet. All right. Kind of do a circle. I do one at a time because it's somewhat tricky. I want to make sure that I get what I need down here. I notice sometimes that my feet get really sore, especially if I try to do something super quick without doing this. And I start, doing something that requires a lot of footwork. And then my other foot. Like this. And squeeze. I like to squeeze because it gets blood there. As I take a deep breath. Stretch the toes if you can, as best you can, flex them. Toes and fingers are super important in the fact that they really help with balance, especially our big toe. And reverse. Just do what you can, no big deal. And then I'm going to lift my knee up and start swinging. Doing a circle like this. And this you can do more of a figure eight, but it can get kind of messy. And I don't flex my foot when I do this. So you want to keep your foot loose. No Kevin Bacon references from me, but even though he's the greatest actor ever. And I'm going to switch that. And this also incorporates the hip a little bit. So just be careful that you're not flexing too much and you're up here, but you're going to use some of the muscles. And just go around just to loosen up the knees, right? And we're going to take a quick pause, take a deep breath in and exhale. Now I'm going to bring my right arm up and have my wrist like I'm pushing something against, like I want to push something. So I'm going to bring my arm back as far as I can and up. Take a deep breath in. We're just going to do one at a time, then we'll do both. And then push forward, like you're gently pushing something. You don't need to flex a muscle, right? But just helps get kind of the shoulders into play again, and back. And forward and back. Remember to breathe. We're going to do the other side. Back and forward and back and forward. Back and forward. Now we're going to incorporate both, right? Deep breath in, back and forward, back and forward. Now we can do this a couple of ways. We can really flex our hands, right? And push out if you can. That's available to you. Or you can make a ball your fist if you need to. Or you can do thumbs like this. Everything's going to feel slightly different depending on what you want to do and what you want to feel. Every day is different too. So what we do on Monday might not be what we can do on Thursday or vice versa. Or our body's just not feeling it, right? Now I'm going to bring my hands down and do the same thing. All right, so it's a little bit different. We're just trying to get some flexibility in our wrists and our forearms. All right. And stop. Now we're going to go up, right? So one at a time, up, deep breath in, up, and exhale. And the left side, up, and exhale. And up. And exhale. And up. And exhale. Now both. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. This works the back of the shoulders a little bit more. And inhale up one more time. And exhale. Now we're going to bring our legs into it. So we're going to do the same thing one at a time. We're going to bring our whatever, if it's your left or your right, we're going to bring them together up at the same time. So inhale. And exhale. Other side. Inhale. And exhale. And go as slow as you can. Slow and gentle, right? Because if we make too big of movements, again on the other side, if we do, our movements are too big, we might get overheated, which you don't want to do. And this is supposed to be gentle, right? So we just want to get, the idea is to get some flexibility. Again, you can flex your hands and feet if you want, or you can leave them loose. It's okay, whichever you decide, and down. Right. One more time. And down. And other side. And down. Now we're going to work on a little bit of coordination. So we're going to do opposites, right? We're going to do, if your right hand is raised, raise your left leg. If your left hand is raised, raise your right leg. All right? I think we can do this. I think so. All right, here we go. Take it. Actually, let's stop for a second. Just take a deep breath. And exhale. Bring back in the intention or mantra that you might have brought in. I mentioned a mantra that I used the other day. It's a prayer called Ho'oponopono. So on Monday I mentioned it, and it's pretty simple, especially if you're having some challenges with people or yourself, even. You know, just getting out of a odd space. You know, even small things, and that's just reminding ourselves, you know, that we forgive ourselves, we love ourselves, we thank ourselves, and apologize to ourselves. So we just want to make sure that we have care and concern for ourselves, as you know, we have for other people, and that they have for us. That we allow ourselves the same grace. And that's really what the whole Ho'oponopono is about. It's Hawaiian. And it's I think it's one of the more beautiful sort of mantras. But yeah, so that's what I like to put in, just in if I have anything going on with myself internally or externally with other folks. And it helps clear the space, energetically speaking. Still work that needs to be done, but at least it starts a conversation. All right. So whatever your intention is, your mantra is, just bring that back in for the moment. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Try to remember it as we go, but you see how easy the mind kind of makes it go away as soon as we stop thinking about it. We kind of keep it in the background, right, of what we're doing. So now we're going to do opposite sides, right with left and left with right. Here we go. Deep breath in. I'm bringing my right arm up slowly and my left leg up slowly. Just going to hold it for a sec, not too long, and exhale. I'm going to switch sides. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. We don't want to hold poses too long. Inhale and exhale. We also don't want to do them too fast, right? So there's a balance in between. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Okay, so now we're kind of hopefully a little, we don't want to be too warm, but we don't want to be we want to be, just about right. So depending on flexibility and depending on what kind of space you have, we're going to practice it's called the warrior pose. And basically we're going to have our arms out. There are a couple ways you can do this. You can have your arms out and turn your head to either your left or right. I tend to have my hands up when I do this. You can have them out like this. Try not to have them down like this. It's very painful if you do it for too long. I like to have it up like this so I have my thumb to look at, because we want to make sure that our thumb and our nose are aligned as best we can. And this is when we have an object that we put in front of us and we look, it's called a drishti. And it's just a way of having a point of purpose is what it means. And this is metaphorical for a lot of things in life. When we have a direction that we want to go, we have to focus on that. And sometimes we lose focus, and it helps keep us focused and balanced mentally and physically. So we're going to have our arms out like this. There's another way, if you want, you can put your leg on the side of your chair like this so you get a little better twist. And we're just going to be here for a second. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. We want our shoulders to be not tight, but we want to make sure that they are in a place that we can get some strength in there. So one more inhale and exhale. And we're going to bring, if you had your leg to the side, we're going to bring it back and bring our arms down. Okay. And we're going to switch sides. So again, you can be like this and turn, and that's totally okay. And now whatever side you were just on, we're going to do the opposite side. So I'm going to open my leg like this. And I'm going to bring my arms down first because they're a little sore right now. So I'm going to honor that. If you start feeling something and you need to let your arms down, please do. Don't push yourself where you just don't push yourself. Just be like, okay, I'll get it the next time. So we're going to bring our arms up and take a deep breath in. You're going to do a little twist. Look at your drishti. Look beyond it, see it, keep it in frame, and exhale, and bring your arms down. And do it one more time. So part of the drishti is you look to it, and then you look beyond it. So step by step, it's a step-by-step process of things. Nothing happens all at once. It usually happens in slower moving increments. So that's kind of what this helps us discover, because there's something beyond your drishti that you might want to go to. So take a deep breath in. Exhale. You're going to bring your arms up on the next inhale. Inhale, arms up. And this gets our lower back, our back gives us some strength, helps flexibility. Inhale and exhale. If it helps to turn your arm and that feels good, that's totally okay. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And bring it down and return back to center. Okay. So now we want to loosen our shoulders again, because that was that. Yeah, very good. And also our neck. So we're going to do the shoulder shrugs that we did earlier help, but also just keeping our head straight, our back straight, and just turning our nose. See if we can see our shoulder. Try to keep this, whatever side you're turned to, the opposite side, keep as low as you can, and try not to bring your shoulders up, right? Because that can cause a lot more tension. We want to keep our shoulders down. And then, just turn and look to the side like we just did, but without an arm up, and see how that feels. Now you can also bring your chin down into the other side. Deep breath in. Now I'm going to bring my chin all the way up and look. Now this is where we might lose balance. We have to make sure we're in our chairs really nice and firmly, and bring your neck around and back down to the center. And then back so we're looking straight forward. We'll do that one more time, okay? Maybe a couple more times. Hopefully it helps. Deep breath in and exhale. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Think of cool air coming in and any of the bad stuff coming out. So nice deep breath in. Let's sit there, turn our heads, exhale. Inhale in. Come bring your neck down so your chin passes through your chest. Again, be careful that you're not losing balance. Up to the side. All the way around. Super slow. We don't want to do this fast at all. We want to make sure we go super slow and down. And you breathe in and out as we go. And we end down. And then bring our hips back up. Take a nice deep breath. And exhale. Now we're going to do a spinal twist. Now that we've loosened our neck up, so we're going to take our right hand and gently put it not on our knee. We want to make sure we don't put our hand on our knee. We want to put it on our thigh if we can, or on the side of the chair if you can, which is sometimes better. We just want to make sure we're locked into place, right? But on the side is fine. But you want to have your arm extended as best as you can. I find somewhere close to the knee, but not on the knee whatsoever, right? We don't want to do that because that's a lot of nerves and stuff here. We don't want to mess with that too much. And I keep my arms somewhat loose. And I just put it on the side, take a deep breath in. And I twist. And I can use my other hand to support and hold myself up. And I just do this twist to help the spine. Take a deep breath in. You might feel your organs on the inside getting a little squeezed. That's good. And exhale. Notice we can't hold as much breath, but we want to still keep it slow. Inhale. And exhale. Nothing too hard. All right, keep arms loose. Inhale. Exhale, release. Just move that arm. You don't have to lift the arm. Just let it slide back across and unwind. All right? And fall to the side. Hopefully this will help your shoulders a little bit and your lower back. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. We're going to move our arms to the side. You might hear like my lower back just released. That might happen. It's totally okay. Take a deep breath in. And you can go a little bit deeper too if you want. You don't have to. It might cause, we don't want any pain. So we just want to make sure that we're doing what we can. And so turn, if you can, try to squeeze your insides a little bit, not too much. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And on the exhales, when you can do a little bit more of a twist and turn, because it's tough to do it on an inhale. And exhale. One more time and release. Inhale. And exhale, release. Just come back to your center. How's everybody feeling? Everybody all right? Pretty good? Thumbs up? No? Yeah? Okay. Everybody still with us? All right. So now I'm just going to pump my legs. We haven't used our legs in a while. We've been doing a lot of upper body stuff. So what I do is it's like I'm walking. Remember how we're doing biscuits earlier? We do the same thing with our feet, just on the floor if you can. And I just have my toe. I know you can't see my toes, but hopefully you can see my knees moving back and forth just a little bit, nice and gentle. This will work if you just stay on your toes. This will work the back part of your whatever this is called right here. I can't remember. The just the back part of your leg there. It's the triceps of the leg. I just can't remember what they're called at the moment. And so we just want to move that. So we're not trying to build too much strength, but we are trying to build a little. We're doing some resistance stuff to just get some blood flow and oxygen there. Now, what I'd like for you to do is take your hands, go like this, and if this feels okay, do it. If not, you can use your palms, right? You can go like this. But one of the things that gets missed a lot outside of our feet and toes, because some people are super sensitive with touch and their toes. I know a friend of mine is not a fan of anyone touching his feet. So, and sometimes it's the same thing with knees because all the nerve endings. But if you can, grab your knees from underneath like this. We don't want to push in. We just want to let our knees know that we're here. And I put my thumbs on the inside and just rotate around. And you can feel free to move your legs with it if it comes with it. We don't want to be tight in our feet and our legs whatsoever. So what I'd like for you to do, just as an example, is notice if you flex. And when I say flex, just squeeze your muscles. See the difference in what your knees do. And feel and it's super slight. You feel your knees tense up. And if your knees are like that, this is not going to help that much. But you feel where that muscle is that tightens up. If you can I usually put my middle fingers in that section and my thumbs just above right here. And this, because one thing if we have arthritis, if we have any of these things, if it hurts, we don't want to do it. But if we can, this helps bring some blood flow and to the nerve, and it helps the nerves relax a little bit more. We don't want to push in. We don't want to bruise. We don't want to do anything like that. If you can't, if that's not available to you, you can use your palms and just kind of move stuff around on your legs like this. Totally okay. What we don't want to do is like smash in like on the side here where our bones are. All right, you just want to be gentle with it. And this just helps get some flow. Same thing with the elbows. You can do the same thing with the elbow. It's a little bit trickier. And we have that funny bone there. But I like doing it with the knees because as we get older and we use our knees, or if we're sitting a lot, our knees, all the blood flow just goes to our feet, doesn't get to our feet. And it doesn't, it stops at our knees. And that can cause some weakness in the knee. So I like doing this, and it feels good, I think. And just rotate around a little bit, all right? And this is something we can do when we're sitting either at home or in an office or in the car if we feel like, oh, my legs are hurting a little bit. If this is something that you might help you feel good, and it's all good. I happen to stand a lot, I had a pretty nasty knee injury when I was younger. So so this always feels good, but just make sure you're okay. Same thing with the elbow, but it's a little tricky, but you just want to, on the outside or like along this muscle right here, is just press in a little bit, just the same sort of thing. Because our arms hang low, and wherever our arms are, if we're crossed like this, the blood can't get to our hands that much. That's why we get sometimes numbness. But a lot of times working with the elbows, getting some extra, just letting them know that we appreciate them. They get us through the day. We need them. And then you can also do the same thing with shoulders. All right. So it's the same sort of, anything that has a bendiness to it. It's tough to do it in a chair with your hips. There's a way to do it with the hips as well, where you grab it. That's a little bit trickier because that's where a lot of the blood sits. And it's tough to get our backs too, but the same thing where we want to just massage ourselves, if we can, on our back, just to let it know that we're okay. All right, so we're going to take just a break for just a second. And inhale and exhale. You can also do it with your wrists. There are all kinds of different wrist flexing things that we can do to help. Right? Same thing with our feet. It all depends. It all depends. And we can get more into that as we go along. And if there's anything that you guys would like to cover that we've not covered in future classes, just send us a note. And we can certainly incorporate those things into class. If you think it's too easy, if you want it to be a little bit more challenging, or if it's too challenging, you want it to be a little bit more gentle, we can do that. Again, I just work my knees, and I'm gonna pump my feet again, just like I'm walking. Okay. Keep our head up this time. When I'm still looking down, we're gonna keep our chin up. And just because we want to keep, as we're sitting, we want to make sure that we keep moving slightly. One of the things we don't want to be is too static, meaning just sit still. All right. So now we're going to close our eyes. Stop for a sec, close our eyes, take a deep breath. And we've done this before, and it's so I'd like for you to close your eyes, and we're going to do some eye flexing. So this will help with because our eyes get tired, especially if you wear glasses or whatever. If you're not able to do this, it's okay. But what we try to do is rotate our eyeballs around and move them from side to side and up and down. Again, it has to do with blood flow. And sometimes we have a tough time focusing, or if we have something that's where our eyes are not able to focus, then this can certainly help at least bring attention to the eyes to let them know that we care. And we're doing this voluntarily. We're making sure that the movements that we're doing, if you have spasms in your eye or what have you, this can help calm that down as well. But we have to take a deep breath in first. And exhale. Just sit up straight, just reconnect with your body, because we want to make sure that we're not crouching over or anything like that. So you can either put your hands on the side or on your legs. It's still okay. And while you're doing this too, you can squeeze your legs if that feels good. Just want to keep stuff moving. So what we're going to do is I like to start going up and down with my eyes, and just gently go up, like look up. Deep breath in and look down. With your eyes closed. Tough to do this eyes open, right? So we want to keep our eyes closed. And then you go up, and I gently move my head up with my eyes and down with my eyes, right? Just to kind of help follow them along instead of being stiff, right? So just slightly, nothing too crazy. Up and then down. Up and down. Now we're going to go side to side. Doesn't matter what side you start with. I usually start on the right. Giving someone the side eye. Take a deep breath. And other side. Double side eye. And again, you can kind of lean into it. So side. And the other side. One more time. Deep breath in. To the right. And to the left. Okay, and now we're going to return our eyeballs to center, even though you might not be able to see them. Mine are in the center of my eye. I'm going to keep my eyes shut. I'm going to take my, go up with my eyes, now to the left, down, to the right, up, and then center. So we want to make a full circle and then down. And it's not really a circle as much as like it's almost like a diamond, because it's tough to but you can rotate them around, but it's never a true circle. So again, up, and you feel free to move your head slightly to the left, down, to the right, up, and center. Take one more deep breath in. Sit in your chair slightly. Make sure you have any adjustments you need. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Eyes up. To the left. Down. To the right. Up. And center. Now that we're here, and we've done a fair amount of work today. Hopefully everyone's feeling all right. And we're going to start getting into like a relaxation space. It's called Savasana. It's everyone's favorite for some reason. It's like a mini nap of about 5 or 10 minutes. But we don't want to fall asleep. We want to be very aware of our surroundings, because this is a good practice that we can do if we're in a stressful situation, where we just focus on our breathing and focus on our thoughts, making sure that positive is not the right word, but make sure that the energy of our thoughts are not detrimental to us, right? That the thoughts that we think are something other than not nice, right? So we want to think of something, maybe a childhood memory, or maybe something a friend of ours did, or something we can do for someone. That's another way. If you think of service activities or something that you can do for someone else, that's always helpful to change our thought process when we're in service of others. So we're just going to start slowing down. Just relax your arms. Make sure you're in a safe space, that you're not going to fall over. Right? We don't want to be leaning forward. We don't want to be leaning to the side, but we don't want to be too stiff. I usually come forward a little bit in my chair, let my legs kind of hang and my arms hang, and just take a deep breath in and exhale. Remember, in this moment, there's nothing to do and nowhere to be. So whatever you're thinking of you have to do next doesn't exist yet. Just doesn't. We're in our moment now, and this is all there is right now. There's a great sage, he just passed away. His name is Ram Dass. He passed away a couple of years ago, I think in January of 2020, and he wrote a book called Be Here Now. And it's a type of book that you just open up, and whatever's on the page has some sort of meaning. And if it doesn't have meaning in the moment for you, it might later in the day. It's a wonderful book. And exhale. But his whole purpose was to be here now, be just in this moment. It's just the only one that exists. And exhale. One notion that is the memories that we have, good or bad, are just memories of the last time we had that memory. No matter how good or bad the memory is, we only remember remembering the memory. We don't actually remember the event. It's very, once I kind of had that in my brain, I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Inhale and exhale. Especially memories that repeat over and over again, good or bad. We only remember parts and pieces. We don't ever remember start to finish. Just remember the highlights or lowlights. So if it's a negative one, it's easy to kind of release a little bit at a time. Just remember less and less of it. And exhale. I also try to remember if there's a bad memory or thought that comes in my head, I try to picture it in black and white, or like a monochrome, or 8-bit, meaning it's kind of fuzzy. So it's not as prevalent as something that's more positive. Inhale and exhale. I'm just going to start to relax. Think of the mantra that you had earlier. And exhale. And just relax your legs a little bit more if you can. Relax your arms, relax your whole body. Just make sure you're safe in a safe spot. And inhale and exhale slowly. And inhale. And exhale slowly. Inhale one more time. And exhale. And have one more deep inhale. And exhale, push as much air out as you can without being too forceful. Nice gentle inhale. And exhale. Now finally take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Let's sit for 1 second. And exhale. Now we're going to start to come back slowly. So just another inhale. And exhale. Start slowly by moving your toes, not your feet yet, just your toes and fingertips, and the magic in the fingers. And just start wriggling your hands a little bit, nothing too crazy. Right in your toes. Now start moving your feet slightly. We don't want to get overly exerted, we're just waking up. Nice, another deep inhale. Just so we're back in our bodies again. Right, and go into that Savasana space, we kind of drift off into maybe something else. Hopefully it's pleasant. And we just start coming back like, oh, okay, I'm still here. Still here. And then exhale. I start putting my hands back on my legs. Just kind of rubbing my legs gently, start moving my legs a little bit more. Kind of what I did earlier, just a little bit more, start readjust myself in my chair. And kind of get back, bring my shoulders into it. Right. I still have my eyes closed. No need to see anything yet. It's a little bright, especially if we've had our eyes closed for a few minutes. And exhale. You might have felt some tears come. That's okay. That's generally normal. And we just want to start, when we do open our eyes, we want to move our neck a little bit and start letting our eyes adjust to the light. And just letting our arms float, letting our body kind of just move where it needs to move and feel what it needs to feel. Just like when we wake up in the morning. And just start pressing against. Another deep breath in. Remember your mantra or your intention from earlier. Just bring that big into the space as we come in. It's like a second awakening of the day, so to speak, but consciously, right? We're not rushing to get anywhere or do anything. We're just gently opening and waking up. Almost like we're on vacation, even though we might have things to do the rest of the day. Deep inhale in. Exhale, start opening your eyes, seeing the world around you. Okay. Maybe blink a few times. Just gently open. Maybe rock side to side a little bit, or do a little rotation at the center. It's always good. Just keep in mind your breath. Don't lean too far forward. And then change direction. Yeah. And just come back to a seated spot. Yeah, that was nice. We worked hard today. I mean, it might not seem like it as hard as it is, but generally speaking, if you want to do more later, certainly we can. Like I mentioned earlier, we try to keep this sort of part of the day because we've had potentially have had something to eat, so we don't want to overexert. And now it's almost time for maybe another meal. I do suggest you drink, if you can, drink some water just to hydrate. Because we want to make sure any of the movements that we did and all that stuff, what happens is salts get released. And so it's not like a heavy duty workout. So we don't need to like do anything specific, but it certainly helps, especially after if you ever receive a massage or do any sort of thing like that, just to make sure we stay hydrated. Obviously, whatever your doctor recommends for you, to make sure we do that. But I want to thank everyone for coming today, and yeah, thank you so much. So we're just going to close out. I'm just going to put my hands together and remember my little and my little magic fingers. Let's see, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? And then just have a little magic touch on the things and the people I touch too. I try to, remember that, the people I affect, as they affect me, I affect them in my life, and to be gentle, have that gentle touch. And by doing this with our fingers, it reminds us not to push, but to connect, right? That helps. And connection is where it's at. Yoga is all about union and community, but union of mind and heart coming together. So with that, another deep breath in, exhale, namaste. Thank you, guys. We will have yoga classes are now with MS Focus on Mondays at 10:45 with Michelle Matthews from Sacred River Yoga. And then Thursdays, we just started in February. So hopefully you'll be able to do both. Michelle and I have different styles, and hopefully you can incorporate both. That's what yoga is about, is incorporating what works for you into your life. Because it's about, yoga isn't about having to do it the way someone does it necessarily, as long as it's safe, but incorporate that into your life. We do have a number of Zoom conferences coming up for Black History Month that are very beneficial to talk about for this month. We'll be doing that, and you can go find it on our Facebook page, or we post a lot of things on Instagram and Facebook and our website. So if you want to sign up for any of that stuff, it's the same thing as well. Again, if you have any questions or any suggestions, I openly welcome them. My email address is chris@msfocus.org, so msfocus.org. And I'm glad that we're able to meet up and gather. I really appreciate you guys showing up and being here today. And so thank you so much.